ocean is gray, sky is a vague blue, come my way. My room is a mess, it could use a hand. My favorite TV shows to capturing. I know I must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise, I think I let it slide. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems. I know I can't make it through. Every night is the same, I keep running fast, left and right, wondering where my head's gone now. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems. I know all of my problems. I know. Where did it go? The feeling of thirst, desire to be a rock in my heels. I'm numb as a poison, flows in my veins. Guess I got used to avoiding the pain. I know I must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise, I think I let it slide. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems. I know I can't make it through.
let's give a warm welcome to lead developer advocate, April Schupel.
Wow, the lights look awesome out there. I hope everyone still has a little bit in them for the grand finale here. Do we? I know I'm pretty tired from the conference party last night. I maybe did a little bit too much singing, so hopefully I have enough voice to get us through the end. Now, for those of you who have been around for a few years, you may have seen the growth of the Live Build Challenge, but it's always been 6 individual developers facing off head-to-head in just 1 hour to build the best app that they could. This year, we had to spice things up, so we introduced teams. Not only did we introduce teams, well, we gave them something to start from. This time, an app built with our case management studio that they have been working to add additional functionality to. Now, we're gonna get into a lot more of this, but I need some help to take you through all the action today. So it is my pleasure to bring on Justin Schlapp and Nathan Talbot.
Hello, Appian World 2024.
Hello.
How are we feeling?
Yeah, loving the energy.
Oh, great energy. I need your help because I don't have a lot of energy normally, right?
That's fair. That's so fair.
All right, so we are going to meet the contestants in a little bit here, but we do have a quick video to show you. So let's cue up that video.
We're Team Nav Labs,
We may be little fish in a big pond.
but our ripples are starting to make waves.
Hello competitors, we are Team Deft.
And we are coming for you.
So you better watch out.
We're Team KPMG.
Good luck.
We're gonna rock it.
We're Team Spectrum. And you're not even on our wavelength.
Cute. So I'm excited to bring them all on stage.
Absolutely.
So you may have heard some space puns, seen some space theme. Well, that base case management application is a mission tracking application to help track 3 different kinds of missions. Delivery missions, where you're going out and dropping something off. Rescue missions, where you're going out and picking someone up. And just exploration missions, going out there and checking out new celestial bodies. So that's the base app, but you may have seen the mini challenges throughout the conference where they've actually been working on building out additional functionality using more capabilities of the Appian platform. Justin, Nathan, you were there helping me, call the shows during those. So why don't we go through and give a little recap for any audience members who may have missed it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the 6 mini challenges, the energy was electric. There were fingers that were flying. There were certainly hands that are trembling. There was a few beads of sweat coming down their faces. But we kicked off at our welcome reception Monday night with 2 of our 6 mini challenges. The first of which was an ISS tracker. So we talked about how the International Space Station whips around the planet at 17,500 miles an hour. So why not use Appian to figure out exactly where it is right now?
Yeah, and I will say they whipped that challenge very quickly. We only gave them 5 minutes, but they all finished with so much time left. So easy to create integrations and use components from our Appian app market there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the second challenge, leveraging some SpaceX records that we'd integrated in, we had them create a nice record dashboard. So a few calculations displaying some graphs of all of the launch data. It was really interesting to see all of that come together really quickly.
Yeah. So that was on Monday at the welcome reception. When those presidents were running around, some of them tried to compete in the challenges themselves, and we had to reset the stations for them. Now, we kicked off on Tuesday morning. Justin, what did we kick off with?
Yeah, I guess we decided that a mini challenge was the best side to orange juice with breakfast. So we, at 8:30-ish, we kicked off with an identification and classification of an incoming email using our new AI prompt builder, AI skill. I guess even in spaceflight, Outlook is still the primary means of communication.
No, I don't know if we'll ever get away from email there.
And then the fourth challenge, we started to really turn up some of the complexities and of the capabilities of Appian. So we actually had the teams put on a load of maths into an expression rule, just like you would business rules. So they had a lot of really complex calculations to do, all inside Appian. So it's definitely one of the hardest ones, I think, for them.
Yeah, and not hard from the Appian development side, hard from all of the requirements and the math that I made them do that then they had to implement in Appian.
It took me 45 minutes to wrap my head around it in general, right?
But they all finished in under 10 minutes.
I know, they're way smarter than I am. And then for mini challenge 5, we also turned up the complexity a bit. So using Appian's native RPA capability, we had our contestants use Appian RPA to log into a legacy system that we can't integrate with via API, extract some values, and perform some logic to determine if there's enough inventory to complete these different kinds of missions.
Yeah, and that was really impressive because I know RPA has come a long way and Task Recorder is amazing, but to see people be able to create a robotic task and integrate it into a process model, I mean, how fast was the fastest time there?
I think our fastest team there completed in like 6 minutes, I want to say.
I thought it was less,
Maybe it
but
was less.
you know, I mean, really impressive.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Nathan, what was the last mini?
Challenge number 6 was a planetary survey logging mechanism. So really leveraging data fabrics. There were some new records in there that were being built, relationships, interfaces, process models, you name it, it went into that final challenge. But again, speed was incredible on that challenge.
So fast, yeah, I know. I try to make it harder every year, and then still they impress me. I mean, I guess when there's a lot of money on the line, you'll do anything.
I mean, $30,000 would push me pretty far. So
it would push me far too. So that's what they've been working on. And we mentioned there's a base application. So what are they going to be doing in the next 20 minutes? Well, they are going to be trying to integrate those capabilities into that base app. Now, we had 4 teams competing over the course of this week, but will only be 2 teams that are facing off for that $30,000. Why don't we bring the teams out now?
Absolutely.
I want to get going.
Yeah, should we do it?
Shall we do it?
All right. Representing Team Deft, please welcome to the stage Abby, Carolina, and Eduardo.
That's right, that's the energy.
And representing Team Spectrum, we have Harshit, Akshar, and Jordan.
Next slide.
And representing...
Gotta get that slide up for a second. There it is. All right.
Oh, good. And representing Team KPMG, we've got...
Nav Labs.
No, sorry, Nav Labs. It's because my screen's gone, my bad. Representing Team Nav Labs, we have got Casey and... Oh, am I blanking? I'm so sorry.
Jules.
Haley, sorry, Casey,
Oh, yeah, shout
Haley
it
and
out.
Jules, thank you.
Okay, all right. There's the fan club. There we go. We're on it. We got this.
I love the energy. And last but not least, we have Team KPMG. We have Hillman, Justin, and Shannon. Let's hear it for them.
All right. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Now, it has been so incredible getting to spend time with these teams. These are 12 of the best Appian developers in the world, and they have impressed us all week long. I have been mentally preparing for this moment because it's really hard, but unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to 2 of our teams. So, the finalists who will be competing for the $30,000 prize are Team Nav Labs and Team KPMG. Deft and Spectrum, you guys were amazing. I hope you cheer from the audience, and I'll see you after the show. See you guys. All right, let's get set up, get to our stations, get ready to roll. I'm sure you guys want to get seated, be ready. Are you okay? No? Are you okay? I've been torturing them all, let's be honest. All right, let's all sit down. Let's all get ready to roll.
Good luck.
Now, while they're getting settled in at their stations, just a little bit more about how this challenge is going to work. So in the past, right, 1 hour, building, building, building. Now they have a base app, they have that mini challenge functionality. They're going to be working in the next 20 minutes to integrate those together. And we also, a few minutes ago, gave them an additional list of stretch goals that they could work towards if they wanted to get those in. And that's some additional integrations, interfaces, logic. We'll see what people choose to do. Then we have some special surprises in store because at the end of the 20 minutes, they're going to be taking a break. We'll have a special guest for you, and then they'll come back out to finish the challenge. All right. Is there anything else we need before we get started? Are all the teams ready to go? Locked in? Yeah?
Some may say all systems go, April.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, are you guys ready to see Appian in action? All right. Can we have 20 minutes on the clock here. Should we get the countdown going? I don't know how long the countdown is, maybe 5 seconds? 7, we heard in the opening keynote, is for space, right? So.
Hold on, we need to restart this.
Oh, it's already going. Okay. Yeah. Can we reset the timer that we were? All right, let's do a countdown together. Ready?
From 7?
From 7.
All right.
7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
They're off. All right. Those are some nice spy cam shots. You know, can we just take a minute while they're getting going to appreciate how much courage it takes to be doing this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the intensity on their faces immediately, the sweat on my palms on the keyboard would not be a pretty sight. I have nothing but respect for these developers.
Yeah. And now we can see, we're going to start seeing what they're working on. I'm seeing some interfaces going. I'm curious to see how they're going to split up the requirements, because when we were getting to know them, we did hear that they have different strengths. So I wonder if they're going to play to their strengths or how you would split that up. Nathan, how would you split up if you were working with Justin head-to-head?
I think it's really about working out what you're fastest at being able to pull things together. As you mentioned, we've had them building a lot of different challenges, and throughout those challenges, the teams were putting in their best foot forward effectively. And I think if Justin and I were doing this, we'd try and do that similar approach. I would be trying on making things look functionally working, and Justin, you're very good at making things look really good in Appian, so I think we'd sort of split the work that way.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We're seeing their screens up here. Hopefully in a moment we'll be able to see their screens close up on the sides. And while that's getting going, guys, why don't you talk a little bit about our case management studio and what that base app that they're working off of is like. I'm actually in contact with mission control with the judges, so they're gonna give me updates to what they're doing, and I'll let you guys know when I have some specifics.
Yeah, and so as you've heard from the keynotes from several different breakout sessions, Case Management Studio is a new product that Appian is launching that really serves as a nice agility layer to get applications up and running. Appian can build a lot of different applications that meet a lot of different use cases, but we see commonly those case management style really fit the bill for a lot of them, right? And so we had these mission cases within the application that we had already set up for these developers, and that's really gonna be the foundation that they're using, and then extending beyond that, using their low-code experience that they all have years of. Something I'd also like to point out, I mean, looking at the different screens that we have here, we noticed this in our UI session. This is where we started to see a bit of strategy coming into these teams, right? Not just delegating necessarily who is taking what task or who's responsible for what aspect of the overall application, but how can we set ourselves up for success, right? How can I start to build my objects so that they are reusable, so I can save that time, have a very cohesive UI, because UI UX, April, is a big part of the points that these contestants are ultimately going to get.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part, but we also have acceptance criteria. It can't just look good. It has to actually work, right? So you mentioned the UI session. I realized I forgot that on the top. Nathan, can you tell the audience a little bit about what that UI session was?
Yeah, this was a bit of a change this year for this year's Live Build Challenge. The UI session was literally the teams locked in a room for 2 hours on Monday. And it was quite funny, actually. We walked into the room and there were 4 tables laid out, and they had all faced the corners, so none of the other teams could see any of the screens that they were building. And there were some beautiful interfaces being pulled together in that session. And I think a lot of them were really trying to think ahead for all these mini challenges, how they're all going to tie into that UI.
Yeah. Do you guys, you were there watching the mini challenges with me. Do you have any highlights from different teams? Anything innovative they did during the mini challenges that maybe you want to call out?
Yeah, I can take that first. Something I would definitely like to call out is that all 4 of our teams had excellent performances in these mini challenges. I think at least every team won at least one of the different challenges that they had to complete. I think what I was really impressed with was, to your earlier point, just the sheer speed with which they did this. We were unsure if like 10 minutes was too much of a challenge for these developers, and they blew it out of the water. I think, at least for me, that was the biggest piece that resonated.
Yeah. And if people want to try this at home, we will be sharing out those challenge prompts on community afterwards. So if you think you have what it takes, I mean, you could try for yourself. But it's one thing to do it in the comfort of your home and another thing to do it in front of a live audience and also our live audience tuning in from home. So hello to all of those on the stream. Right. All right. So Nathan, how is your first time being up on stage here with us? Justin was up here with me last year, so how does it feel on a bit of a bigger stage?
Justin has definitely been kind of my guiding light through all of this. Yeah, safe to say I was a bit nervous coming into it, but I don't think I'm anywhere near as nervous as what these guys have had to go through, because we have grilled them for literally 3 days now and given them challenges and lots of sort of data being thrown at them to work with. But it's been fun seeing how they've all come together as a team, and the support I know they've got from their colleagues that are here, that are watching online as well. It's really humbling to see it.
Yeah, no, I really love being a part of this community, and I mean, those are some of the faces of the community. What are you guys noticing when you watch them? I mean, sometimes, yeah, sure, they look nervous, they're trembling, but they also look pretty dialed in and locked in. We're working on mission control. Let me know that we're working on getting those screens up. Looks like maybe we're starting to be able to get those screens up for you, but maybe we can talk a little bit about how they look. Oh, yeah. Here we come.
I think looking at in the upper middle section here, right, we have the dark mode that team NavLabs was starting to implement into their initial UI session. So I think that this is where they're starting to piece those puzzles, put the pieces of the puzzle together and try to make it seem a bit more cohesive. I'm also noticing a lot of these developers in expression mode, which I guess there are appropriate times to use expression mode, but we also have that drag and drop point and click approach with design mode that can make this a lot more streamlined, and they can develop a lot more quickly.
So we are now cycling through, so maybe we can point out what's happening on those outboards for you as we get a little bit of a closer look. What are you seeing, Justin, as Jules is working there?
Yeah, so it looks like this is a part of their overall mission control dashboard. I remember seeing this in the UI UX session with Jules, and this is going to be, I guess, that point where they can jump into all the different functionality that they're piecing together. So it looks like this is maybe where she's starting to wire up those mini challenge pieces into this mission control dashboard.
Okay, let's go to another screen maybe. Maybe we can get those 3 screen views soon, but now we're jumping over. We see Justin from KPMG. Looks like he's also working in a dashboard. Seems like they're both going for kind of dark color schemes. Do you think that's because of the space theme?
I think so, yeah. That was one of the standout things for me in that UI session, was the commitment to that theme, because that does add a little bit of extra configuration when they're building out those subcomponent interfaces, but it could potentially help them out in the longer run.
Apparently I'm short and need a box brought out to me.
You're about to lift off, April.
So here I am. All right, now on those outboards, we're seeing Hillman. It looks like a lot of them are working on, we're seeing those interfaces, but they're dialing in that functionality. They're going into the expression and putting things in. And this is the blend of that business person maybe using Case Management Studio, and then the developer getting to go in there and really put in additional functionality and the more complex logic. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I'm looking here at Hillman's screen. And so specifically with this challenge, just building these launch reports, the reason that this team, all of our teams, were able to complete this challenge so quickly is because they were using the records of their data fabric to populate all of these charts and graphs, right? That really makes that process a lot more streamlined, because it's really just plug and chug with the exact data that you would like to see.
If you were going to be building a mission tracking app, where do you think you would start?
That's a really good question. I think thinking about what that user experience would look like is probably my starting point personally, just because there's so much opportunity here to make something look absolutely beautiful. I mean, we're seeing some of the previews there in some of the screens. I know we had GIFs being used in some of those header banners, which was amazing. I saw something moving as I walked past. I was like, wait, is that what I think it is? And it was. It looked cool.
I think similarly, right? For this challenge, we saw our contestants start with the UI in their UI UX session, but I think like realistically, a lot of our customers, they're probably starting with the data as well, right? Getting that foundation of what is the information I need in this mission tracking application? How do I need to serve that up in a user interface? How do I need to move that information through a workflow, right? So, but starting with that data, I think also lays a very trusted foundation for these applications.
I'm excited to see what they have to do in the second half, but for now, it is pretty exciting to see. Now we do have our view where we can see all three screens at once, kind of see how they're splitting up the work. So what are you seeing over on the NavLab side? Justin, maybe you can start off by, how are they splitting up the work, does it look like?
What I want to point out is all three of them are in expression editors. A component of Appian is that no two developers can be editing the same interface at the same time so that we don't have version incompatibilities. And so what they had to do to be smart about using this 20 minutes of wiring all these different pieces up is start to compartmentalize and make smaller components that they can ultimately group together to make their overarching application. And so if they wouldn't have had that foresight and that strategy in their development, we wouldn't be able to see all three of them in the expression editor at the same time. So that was smart thinking on Team NavLab's part.
It was pretty smart. And speaking of NavLabs, we actually did get a chance to do some interviews with these folks, and we have some quick videos to help you get to know them a little bit better. So why don't we cue that NavLabs video?
Oh, yeah, sounds good.
Hi, my name is Haley, and I'm a principal consultant at NavLabs.
Hi, my name is Casey Frederick. I'm a principal consultant with NavLabs.
Hi, I'm Juliana, and I'm a senior consultant at NavLabs.
So what do you guys think your strengths are as a team?
We're good at a lot of things. We're very good at
Actually, we're all good at everything.
Everything.
UI is definitely one of my strengths.
I think I'm really good at kind of prototyping and getting stuff like right on the page, like right away.
If you had to choose an Appian object that is your spirit animal, what would you say that is?
I'd be a knowledge center, because like Casey and like, that's my name.
Oh, that's
and
actually...
I'm stuffed full of knowledge.
I'd be a hot fix. My name is Haley Finnegan, so HF. It's because I'm hot. I fix things. I would be a package, because I'm the whole package.
How does it feel representing, a smaller, like, boutique Appian consultancy?
We're 0 to hero.
Right.
I'm ready to take everyone by storm,
What would you guys do with the money if you won?
That's a good question. I think I'll probably book a ticket, maybe to Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Thailand.
We're all buying tickets to Cambodia.
Yeah.
Haley just doesn't know it yet.
We're all just going to Angkor Wat together.
I honestly might have to join Haley on that trip to Cambodia if I can.
That was such a great interview, and I'm sad we couldn't play all like 25 minutes of footage for you because we were laughing basically the whole time.
Oh, I was cracking up that entire interview. So funny.
So you all saw throughout their interview videos some of those moments of those mini challenges and of our UI session. So they have been having multiple times throughout this conference where they've really had to be locked in, working very hard because they're trying to take home that $30,000 cash prize. Another thing NavLabs is trying to take home the prize for is they did put in their application that it's their boss's birthday, so they are trying to give a good birthday present, and maybe it'll be good for them too.
I mean, killer company party maybe.
So let's look at KPMG and what they're doing. So I see Hillman working on a Google map. What other things are you seeing from KPMG? I'm seeing someone in that spaceflight news API, maybe trying to get a news feed of different space-related articles in their homepage. I don't know, what kind of things would you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about KPMG is they've kind of gone a little bit outside of some of the briefs to pull in extra information. And I think that's a really valuable thing to be adding in. And I'd certainly be doing the same sort of thing, putting in something like some space news, latest launches perhaps that are going on from other companies. I'd definitely try and pull in some additional API information into some of these interfaces.
Something else I also want to point out too, I briefly saw Justin in changing the typeface of this application. And so if you were in the audience or on the live stream last year, Molly Saul, our winner of the Appian World 2023 Live Build Challenge, went above and beyond with that extra step in invigorating the UI and the UX, mainly by changing the typeface. And I think that's what allowed her to clinch those points and secure the win.
And I think this is one of the beautiful things about Appian, right? You don't just get it and use it. You can really customize it exactly for your specific needs, and it is so powerful, not just from the business logic side, but also from the branding side. Makes things pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see, check in with the judges.
Something that I also want to point out quickly, Hillman on the screen that he was previously on was editing that Google Maps component, while we saw Justin integrating that same Google Maps component into their overarching dashboard. So it looks like they're starting to stitch together those mini challenge pieces.
Yeah, and that object reusability is really, really helpful in situations like this, as we've said, because we can't have them all in the same interface design working together, so they've all got to be working individually. And we saw that with some of the other teams as well. They've really worked to try and make sure that when they come to this final situation, that everything can be stitched together nice and easily.
Exactly.
All right. So we were just talking about KPMG. We did also have a chance to spend time interviewing with KPMG and with the rest of the contestants. So maybe we can get that KPMG video pulled up so that we can get to know them a little bit better as well.
Hi everyone, this is Hillman He representing KPMG.
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon. I also go by Shanann or Shan.
Hi, my name is Justin Yan. I'm representing Team KPMG.
So what's the strategy? How are you going to split up the mini challenges?
So Justin's the only one that investigated into RPA, so he's definitely taking the RPA piece.
Also the record creation.
Record creation.
Yep.
Hillman has actually completed an AI training course before, so hopefully we'll have a leg up in the competition.
Which Appian object is your spirit animal, would you say?
I'm like a little complex. You might have to like dig a little bit, like peel back the layers to figure it out. So I don't know, maybe the expression rule, like maybe that is me.
I was also gonna say expression rule. So I feel like I'm very logical and I like to think through problems.
What are you not? Okay,
I am
what's
definitely not the decision object.
Oh, okay. What are you most anxious about when it comes to building in front of a live audience?
The dreaded missing a comma.
If I type too fast and have a typo here or there and then breaks an expression, and the commentator is going to like switch over to live stream my screen and be like, look at Hillman.
I'm worried that I'm gonna hear something and it's gonna really just get in my head and I'll start spiraling.
Do you guys have different strengths when it comes to Appian?
Nah, we're all good at everything. What do you mean?
I really, a round of applause for both of our teams there. I love getting to know them. I love getting to know about all of the amazing members of our Appian community. And one thing to point out here is it doesn't matter what size you are, you can have amazing success with Appian. NavLabs is from one of our boutique partners, and KPMG is a pretty big company, you may have heard of them. So it's amazing to see that those two companies of different sizes can go head to head on the largest stage of Appian development and be competing. It's pretty amazing, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So we are coming down to the wire. It looks like we have 3.5 minutes left. They are going to get a chance to continue to kind of work some of these things in when we come back from the break, but it really looks like they're making a lot of progress here. I'm actually seeing, are you seeing this case management studio?
I am. I'm also seeing the lower middle section. It looks like Team KPMG is starting to test out that final functionality of kind of incorporating all these things together. So you see, as they're submitting that case, there were those validations that they had to create via that complex expression rule in one of the mini challenges. And this is the moment that I think they're going to test to see if that functionality actually works on the front end.
Yeah. And we have our team of judges. They're watching them. They're letting me know what updates on what they're doing. And they will be working during the break to judge this first half of this challenge. We're getting down 2.5 minutes left. I don't know. This is going by so quickly. I don't even know.
It's tough, right? Because I probably sound like a broken record at this point, but because there are so many small puzzle pieces that they're piecing together, it's hard to get an image of the full picture until they hit that final save and that clock hits 0 seconds, right?
Yeah, it'll be pretty exciting at the end of the challenge for them each to have a chance to click through their apps, for you to all see what they've been able to create over the course of this conference. We're down to 2 minutes left. It looks like, you know, the teams have been able to work in validations, they've been able to work in new integrations, and they're really making a great plan to work together. I kind of want to sneak and look behind them. Maybe you can just keep talking through some of the stuff you're seeing.
Yeah, I want to just very quickly call out some of the case management screens that we're seeing some of the teams go into, because if you've been to a few of the presentations so far this week, you'll know that case management really simplifies some of that workflow creation steps. And we've had the teams going through doing that as part of some of the mini challenges that they've had to do this week. Did you notice sort of anything stand out-ish in terms of the way that they were approaching that design in terms of the planning stages between all of the challenges?
Yeah, I think especially when you start to integrate Case Management Studio, you definitely need to be a little more strategic about, okay, what parts are my no-code developers going to handle versus where is that handoff going to occur to my low-code developers to start to extend some of that. So in the UI session, as well as like between many challenges when I was eavesdropping on a few of the teams, I definitely heard those kinds of conversations happening.
Yeah, and we saw in some of those videos as well, they were very much heads down in between all of the sessions as well. We were getting a lot of questions from them.
Yeah.
So they were really putting in some serious effort, and it's not surprising, $30,000 is at stake here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, it's not surprising they're really going for it.
I wouldn't have slept at all this week if 30,000 was on the line.
We have just almost 30 seconds left of this first half of the challenge. I did get a ping from one of the judges that we have Casey working on records chat being integrated in, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh, wow.
One of our new functionalities. We might have to dig more into that in the back half as we only have 20 seconds left here.
Should we get a countdown starting at 10 while they're hitting their final saves? I'm seeing some record objects. I'm seeing an extra integration, it looks like. Final changes to any UI components. In the upper left-hand corner, we're starting to toggle through that site. 3 seconds left.
We're at 2, 1. Time.
Start building.
Hands up. All right. Wow. That went pretty quickly. I am. I'm getting a notice from Mission Control here. So it seems there's a new requirement.
Oh, there always is.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, Houston, they radioed in, and our command center, they want to be a little bit more agile. So instead of just being able to do one mission type, what happens if I'm already out on a mission and I want to go complete a different kind of mission? Well, let's add an entirely new mission case type, a detour mission, and this detour mission needs to have validation that depending on what mission I'm currently on, how much fuel I have left, and how long the detour would be, is that going to be approved? So, I don't know, do you think they could do that in 15 more minutes maybe?
I mean, they've done so many challenges so quick already. I think they can do it.
Unfortunately, they, like you, just found out about this right now, so I think they probably want a little bit of a chance to maybe strategize. So we are going to let them get off stage. Maybe Justin and Nathan, you can escort these terrified developers back off stage.
All right, great job. All right.
While they're doing that, to our live stream audience at home, I'm going to cut the stream back to product evangelist Sam Cannett, who is going to be using some time to walk our live stream audience through those mini challenges and the kind of work that the developers have been doing throughout the conference so far. All right, now.
Thanks, April. Thank you, everyone, for being here. On the virtual side of the Live Build Challenge for Appian World 2024, I'm really excited to have you here with me today. I'm sure you're watching these amazing developers go through the Live Build Challenge and thinking, how exactly did they get here? They are using all sorts of different objects, components, interfaces, rules to build out their final applications. But how exactly did they get there? That's what I'm here today. We are going to walk through some of these mini challenges that the contestants actually did just days before, so we can see exactly what different challenges that they were going through to get to this point. Here on my slide, you can see kind of the 6 different things that cover what the contestants have worked on. You can see starting from the top left, we have integrations, we have report building, we have AI skills, we have low-code design in the expression editor, we have RPA, and we also have form, codeless data modeling, and record type object configuration. So those were kind of the 6 different themes of our mini challenges. I thought it would be fun to walk through some of these and actually see what the challenge was, and then we can work through how to solve it as well. So let's go ahead and get started. As always, we are going to start within our interface designer itself. Not interface designer, apologies, our application designer. Now, let's go ahead and start with our mini challenge number 1. You can see here that it is an ISS tracker. As you've seen in the mini challenges and in the live build challenge so far, everybody is working within this space theme. I got my really cool space jacket on, feeling good, so I'm ready to go. Let's go ahead and start with building out this ISS tracker. And what that is going to involve is it's going to involve an API integration. You can see we are going to be using the Google Maps component plugin to display on the Google Maps view itself where the ISS is located directly above at that moment in time. So let's go ahead and get started with this first challenge. As mentioned, I'm actually going to jump back here. I think it's always important that when we are working with integrations and APIs that we need to understand the documentation that we're working with so we can understand that we can get our integration working and get the results that we want. So you can see here, it's moving at roughly 28,000 kilometers per hour and it's changing extremely fast. So let's use this to be able to pull the exact location at any time. Down here, I can see some of my integration documentation. And so this looks like our site that we are actually going to call. And so let's go ahead and copy that. I know I'm a little early in the build here, but let's go ahead and create our integration object. With that, I'm not going to use a connected system for this. I could if I was going to be creating multiple integrations off of it. But just because it's this one, I'm just going to keep it as is. We will call this ISS tracker for the International Space Station, which I just learned is actually being decommissioned, I believe, in 2030. So that's kind of crazy. And we'll go ahead and create this. So let's give this time to load up. And as mentioned, our URL we pulled from the documentation itself. I do not need any authentication for this, but I do want to make sure that instead of returning that JSON raw response body value back, I actually want that to be converted to an Appian value because that makes it a lot easier to work with when I'm building within my Appian applications. So now that it looks like we have configured everything that we would like to configure, I'm going to go ahead and test my requests, and it cannot be converted to an Appian value. Let's see what happened here. This is where the debugging mode gets interesting. It cannot be converted. Okay, let's go ahead and try this. Let's make sure that our responses, there we go. Okay, so it does look like our integration is properly working. You can see that within our body here of the integration itself, we have our latitude and longitude. So we may need to do some converting later. Let's just go ahead and give it one more try. Do another test. Okay. It doesn't seem to be returning it as a Appian value, but that's no problem. Let me just make sure my documentation, everything looks good. It does. Okay. We can always do some later formatting. So let's go ahead and stick with what we had with returning the raw response body. We have that working, so we will update that. Now, because this is going to add an extra step, let's go ahead and add an expression rule where we could format this. So I will call this format integration response. And hopefully we can do this super quick. If not, I don't want to get too carried away here. I could always make a separate video later on that we can really cover this in depth. But what I want to do is I'm just going to call a local variable. And that's going to return our integration response. So let's go ahead and call our ISS tracker here. And then I'm going to call our from JSON command, which is going to be our response. And it's going to convert that from a JSON into a dictionary format. Let's make sure. Okay. For some reason, it doesn't like my JSON here. I'm not exactly sure what is happening on the response of the integration itself. It doesn't want to convert it into an Appian value. So let's just go ahead and do this. Let's move forward with creating our interface itself of our ISS tracker. We will use the Google Maps component plugin as mentioned earlier. And it looks like that name already exists because my rule is using it. So let's change it from my interface. And what we're going to do is we're going to, again, use the same exact component. So I'm going to actually go in here. Actually, let's stay in design mode. That's always fun. It's always easier. I have the bad habit of going directly into expression editor, and I probably should work at that. But let's go and do this. Google Map markers. So let's drag that object in here. And now you can see we're getting an error because we haven't provided the API key yet. So let's go ahead and do that. It's a constant. So now you can see that we have our maps appearing here. And all that all else that we really need to do is our map markers. You can see looking at the documentation that it follows a format of name, content, Latin, longitude. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's do name, which is ISS, and I'm just going to do the same for the content as well. And then again, it is going to be taking in a lat and longitude parameter, and those are going to be in a number integer format. So unfortunately, my JSON does not seem to be returning properly. So we are just going to work with hard coding it, which I know isn't always the best, but we're just going to roll with it. So you can see we have our latitude here, and then we also have our longitude. This is for the sake of being able to show the Google Maps. So let's go ahead and paste that in there. And then you can see, let me get this up. We have our marker. So I could also do a bunch of different stuff within the expression editor itself. We could change the zoom level so that it looks more closer up and we have a better view. But it does look like currently the ISS, the International Space Station, is going around the Horn of Africa. So it's pretty exciting to see how it changes and travels over time. Now, if you wanted to add in extra buttons that you could refresh every time so that it recalls that integration, returns the new latitude and longitude, you could simply add a button in, add a local variable for counting, that every time that local variable changes when you click that button, it'll update the variable that calls the integration response, making sure that you always have the latest and greatest data showing within your interface here. So that is where you probably have seen others in the Live Build Challenge so far using this. They're actually using that same integration to pull in their data and then showcase that on the interface. So okay, that is one challenge. That looks like it knocks off our integration challenge. The next one that I want to get into, I think it's the most exciting one, is the RPA. RPA is always fun. It's new. Some people haven't touched it. Some people are scared to touch it. I get it. It can be nerve-wracking at first, but it's actually really simple to use. It's very user-friendly, and you get to use the same low-code designer tools that you see throughout the application, whether it's in process models or in interfaces as well. So let's go ahead and actually start into the RPA. I do already have my robot online, but I'm just going to refresh to make sure it's still online. Okay, so it looks like we're good there. And then, again, earlier, I created my space robots pool. So I have my space robot now in our robot pool, which is properly configured, so we're all good there. I'm just going to clean up some of my tabs. And then I have my get inventory robotic task. So now I'm sure you're wondering, what are we doing in this challenge? What is the goal? So the challenge for the inventory is all about, we have a legacy system. Let me see if I can find it here in my instructions. Inventory check. We have a legacy system that is holding all of our inventory data related to our different missions, our equipment, and stuff like that. And so we're going to be using an RPA task to retrieve that data, and then we'll be able to do different formatting and filtering to make sure that the exact product or piece of equipment that we are looking for is in stock so that we can use it, and if not, we'll have to order extras. So, as mentioned, there is this web page, which is a mock legacy system. I actually love this for a lot of developers because I think for RPA it's a great debugging and testing tool to be able to test some of your processes. You can provide it different JSON value, such as this kind here, which I'm actually going to pull. And as you see, when I put it into the website and refresh, doesn't seem to be refreshing, but that's okay. It will dynamically update your tables as we go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up our task recorder here, and we will actually go through recording our process, and then we can give it a try later. And I will say, I do know that we do have a constant holding our inventory JSON, so maybe that'll work better. Let's go ahead and pull this information in. Here is our JSON data for our table. Let's go ahead and delete all this, paste it in. There we go. So now you can see we have different equipment inventory that we can start to pull from. So let's use this within our robotic task. I'm going to use the task recorder through my space robot, which is my device here, and let it do its thing. It's going to set up the recorder, and then I'm going to select Google Chrome as my application that I'm going to work from. Now I'm going to try to make this as smooth as possible, but I might have to go back and forth to get some of the options that I need enabled to actually do this recording. But let's let it do its thing real quick. So it'll open up Chrome, and then from there you'll see it'll start to gather our different interactions. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I have the correct website. We will put that in and hit enter. And as we go, you'll see over here on the right that it kind of records our actions. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this drop down for our table data. I'm going to remove this, and then I actually want to make sure that I pull the JSON data so that it updates properly. So we'll hit enter, and we will refresh the table. Now you see it refresh with all the necessary values, but this isn't everything. This is just us getting to the point that we have the data. Now we actually need to pull that data out. So if you actually go up here to the first cell in that table, you'll see we have different actions to choose from. And this is really exciting. I love this feature. It makes things so much easier. You will see this new option called Get Table Values. You no longer have to use for eaching and indexing to make sure that you're getting every single row with different conditional statements. You can just now use the Get Table Values. You can see that it'll grab the entire table. It can even handle paging if your table has multiple pages. Fortunately for us, we do not, so I'm going to say no. And we are going to save this into our inventory process variable. I will make it of type map. And there can be multiple. And we will create. Looks like we now have our data being properly saved. I'm going to close out of the window once we successfully get that data, and then I'll hit done. We'll call this action Get Inventory and add the group. And you'll notice that everything I just did within that window itself, Appian RPA recorded and then wrote those actions down. And here they are. You can see all of our different actions that I just did. Now you have some flexibility. Obviously, we could use the long text string that I just used to input into that dialog, but I'm actually just going to use the constant. It makes things a little easier in case I ever make changes in the future. So we will do inventory JSON and click Save. Now, one thing I always like to do before implementing this into a process model is actually testing it to make sure that, okay, everything's working as expected, and then we can implement it into a process model. So let's actually go ahead and give this a try. We will go ahead and run it on my robot itself. I'm going to mark it as testing, and let's go ahead and click Test. Now, this might take a second. It's going to look for our robot, get it ready, have it pull up all the site, and then we'll kind of see it walk through our different steps. So as it's doing this, you'll see it'll pull up our new site and kind of do some fun little actions. It actually might work faster than I thought, which is great. So let's see how fast it really is today. I know I've been working with some questionable Wi-Fi at times, so but I think I see it thinking. So here we go. It's working much faster than I expected. So this is great news. It should put in our site. It's going to hit our drop down. It should update our table values. Perfect. It looks like it did. It now pulled that data and closed our browser. So this is awesome. I think it worked exactly as we expected it. And you can see all of our data is now there. So this is great news. We have all of our data. This is the fun part now, is when we get it implemented into a process model. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll navigate back to our application designer. We will select process model, and we will call this Get Inventory. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have recently used some of the new functionality that has been present in the Appian platform, but there is a lot of exciting new capabilities when it comes to using the RPA Smart Service within your process models. There's no longer a need for an RPA connected system and an RPA integration to execute a robotic task. Now it is all built within this unified platform, and all you have to do is search for and select your design object and configure it as needed. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to search for execute. If I could type robotic task, let's put it here. And then as mentioned, I'm just going to search for, if it wants to think for a little bit. Let's give it a second. While it's doing that, I'm going to do some tab cleanup. It's thinking, but all I'm going to do is search for my robotic task when it comes, and then I'll configure my output variables to be saved into a process variable, and then from there we can do any kind of data manipulation that we may want. So if we want to filter for a specific piece of inventory or equipment that we want to look for. So again, let's search for our Get Inventory. We'll use next available robot. My robot pool only has one robot, so it'll use mine no matter what. We have no inputs needed. And for outputs, I'll just save my variables into I could technically save my variables into a giant process variable, but I actually just want my inventory data. So we will just do my acbang variables.inventory inventory. And we will store this into our own process variable called inventory. Again, same type, multiple, and we will go ahead and save that. And that's it. I mean, I just configured a robotic task and put it in my process model in, I don't know, 3 minutes, give or take. So super, super quick. And now we are able to actually save and I've become a big friend of this check mark here. It always makes me feel good when I see that this process model contains no errors. It always makes me feel a little bit better that, okay, maybe I'm doing something right here. Let's go ahead and save and publish. Again, I'm going to run it one more time so that we can actually see it kick off through the process model. And then we'll also be able to go into our process history, because that is also a very exciting new feature that we have implemented within the process history, is that your process variables are much more easy to be read. So you no longer have to filter and sift through kind of that nasty looking text that used to be. It's a very clean, interactive way to look at and interact with your data. And then it makes testing, debugging, working with it, data manipulation much, much easier. So you can see our robot is kicking off on my machine. Again, much quicker than I expected. It's going to do the exact same thing, update some of the values, which this is a really fun table. I love this. I definitely be using this more within my RPA debugging. And it pulls our data out. So if I configure this properly, our process variables should update. I know it always takes a second for the shutdown to conclude and for that data to be processed. So let's just test here. Okay, it's taking a little longer, but that's okay. But then we'll verify that we got that data. And then from there, it's just the fun part of, beautiful, looks like it did. And look how great this is. I love this. It is so nice to have the data in a map format where I can see the key value pairs, and I don't have to sift through all the different things. I can select and go through. But from here, if we're looking for life support systems, we could directly index into that item and then see that we do have a quantity of 4. Inventory is good, and we have passed that test. So that is our RPA mini challenge that our contestants actually built earlier this week in order to implement it into their processes today. What is next? I see we have AI skills. AI skills are always fun. Maybe we jump into that one. So for the AI skills, what we wanted to do, let me scroll up to our challenge here. It is identify and route communications. So we're in space. We're dealing with a lot of different communications. We have incoming emails. They could be emergencies. They could be communication. We want to make sure that we are handling those emails quickly, solving people's problems, and doing it super, super efficiently with what the Appian platform provides us. So we're going to use an AI skill to actually take in that inbound email, and we'll be able to sift through it. And from there, we'll be able to create a case off of that using the AI prompt builder, where it'll give us a case name, a case description, and it'll also classify what type of communication that is. So I'm going to go into our our application designer. I keep saying interface designer. I'm going to select my AI skill object, and you'll see a couple of skills pop up. And we have released 12 brand new AI skills, which will be coming out, so very excited to use those. But today I'm just going to use the prompt builder. This gives me a lot of flexibility to kind of do whatever I want. Ask the AI to do something for me. I'll say classify. Classify is a good word, I guess. Inbound, classify email. That's okay. Save, just like any other design object, and then we're going to be thrown into the AI skill interface. Now, this gives you a couple options. You can see you have prompt, temperature, examples, and then tests. So we did give the contestants some examples because it just makes things easier. So I'm actually going to grab this prompt, and we can discuss what the prompt is going to tell our AI model to do. We are saying that given, let me update my formatting here. Given inbound emails from external systems related to space travel, create a prompt to generate JSON output for creating a case based on the type of email received. The output should specify the case title, description, and case type. And in this case, we have 3 different case types: emergency, exploration, and delivery. Now, temperature tells me how similar or varied you like the responses to be. Because I want a very structured output, I'm going to set this all the way down so that it's less random, so that I'm getting the most consistent results I can. Last thing is examples. Examples are just going to help the model be more accurate on its response. The more examples you give, the better. So I'm going to pull these examples and dump them right in, and then we are going to provide an output as well so that the model knows, okay, this is what the user kind of expects. Lastly, let's run a test. And we should be able to get a pretty good output based on what we provided, where the prompt will give us a case name that we can make off of that, a case description, and also a case type. So before we actually see what the AI skill generated, here's the input that we did. I represent the mineral department of planet Xylo, located in the Vega system. We've recently discovered a large deposit of unobtainium, don't know if I said that right, a rare mineral highly sought after across the galaxy. Blah, 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 we are interested in establishing an exclusive right to pursue this. Please contact us for any questions. So, based on that, the AI was properly able to parse through this, this input that we received and generate an output for us. Case name, request to explore large unobtainium deposit on planet Xylo. The description is that the mineral department has discovered a large deposit and wants to establish exclusive rights to mine it. They are interested in pursuing further exploration, and the case type has been identified as exploration. So just like that, any inbound email that we receive into our system, we are going to be able to use this AI skill prompt builder to output a case and case description, as well as the type, so that we can route it to the proper team, and then the workflow can be kicked off so that all the work is getting done efficiently. So just like that, AI is here to help us in our workflows. We are going to save that, and then, like I said, this is going to be kicked off in a workflow as well, so we're going to go back into the process model, and we will call this route inbound communication, because as mentioned, this is going to be received through an email. I will jump into the process model itself, and just like the RPA smart service that I just used, the prompt builder is going to be called the exact same way. But before I get into that, we are going to set up our process model to be able to receive external emails. So first, we want to make sure that it can be received publicly. So we will set that to public. And then what do I want to do next? I want to set a trigger. So what is the trigger going to be? It's going to be, how does this process model start? Well, it's going to be when we receive a message. We will configure this to be listen for messages of type email, as that will be how the communications are received. And now what data do we want to collect when we receive an email? Well, I'm going to add a couple mappings here. I think the first one is going to be that I want to get the body of the message. What did the person say? That is going to be what is fed into our AI skill. So it's going to be worth knowing what is that person wanting to communicate. We'll call this message body, type text. Next thing, we now have what the contents of the email were. What else are we looking for? Well, it might be worth gathering that person's email in case we want to respond. So let's grab, where is this? From email. Select that. We will store this in a new process variable called sender email type text. And then the last thing I want to do, I don't know, not fully necessary, but I feel like it's good to know, what is the subject of this email as well. We will save that. Very easy to use, point and click, always helps me out. Email subject. So now you can see we have 3 different process variables that will be collected right when that email is received. Message body, sender email, email subject. Now, this process is now configured to receive emails. We are going to go into our prompt builder AI skill, searching for execute prompt, and then again, just drag and drop it onto our process model diagram here. We will click into it. And this looks very familiar to the RPA. I'm just going to search for and select my classify email. Classify email might have been a bad name because we're doing a little bit more than that. We're also kind of extracting data out of it. But our input text is going to be our message body. So what are the people trying to communicate to us? Are they in trouble? Are they asking for delivered goods? Are they wanting to explore? So we can feed that into our prompt. And then the last thing is I configured my input, but I also want to configure my output. So as you remember, when I tested my model, I got a JSON output. And so I'm going to create a new output. And then I'm going to use the from JSON function, which I actually was trying to use earlier with our International Space Station tracker, but it seemed to be a little upset with me. So we'll take it with a grain of salt here, and we'll hope it works better this time. So what is going to be our JSON text? Well, that's going to be the output of our prompt builder model. So I'm actually going to go into the response and access it there. So now we have our response here being converted from JSON into a dictionary format, which just makes it easier for us to work with within our process model. I'm going to call this response formatted. Let me see if I can get it there. We will make it of type map. And let's think. There will be multiple. Hit OK. We have now successfully configured a process model with our AI skill prompt builder, which allows us to receive incoming information. I think I'm getting notes that we are about to head back for the second round. I hope you all enjoyed. If you would like to see a later video finishing this, please let me know. Enjoy the second round. We're going to crown a winner, $30,000. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the second half.
All right, I'm ready to keep going. Are you?
Yeah.
Sounds like seems like the table's out of the way. Looks like we may be ready to bring the contestants and the commentators back on. So why don't we welcome them back to the stage? Here they are. I'm surprised they don't look more stressed, actually. So, that's right, that's right. Let's go on over here. So, Justin, Nathan, Simone is going to join you.
Hi,
so
welcome.
get her into those talk tracks. Now, we have 15 minutes for them to incorporate that twist requirement that we just gave them. They've been in the green room coming up with a plan, but, you know, requirements change last minute, or maybe something doesn't work and you have to come up with a new strategy. Let's get 15 minutes on a clock and get right going into it, because we want to see who's going to win that $30,000. So can we get ready to start back up? All right, and we'll do a countdown to kick off the clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, let's see. And they're off. So, I don't know, what's up? What you been thinking
I might need to
about?
borrow a few of those inventions if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, you can have them. Honestly. Oh my God. As somebody who's absolutely terrified of problem solving while people are watching you, I have so much respect for the contestants working like this.
We were just in the back room with them, and there was some frantic paper scrambling, brainstorming, strategy setting. I mean, 15 minutes is going to fly by over here.
Yeah. So we'll see, you know, we were talking about our case management studio, which, Simone, is our new capability, which allows business users, so maybe you're not as technical as these developers up here, to start building out some functionality and work together with the developers in a more cohesive way. With our new requirement, we do see for our teams that they are using that. I see from Nav Labs, I see Jules is working right in Case Management Studio to get that new mission type set up. So it seems like they may have split it up in that way. So I think with Case Management Studio, you three could probably be doing this too.
Should we pull up some chairs and kind of see if we can go head to head with them?
Oh, you know, we would, but there are no chairs.
There's no
we can't, sorry, technical reasons.
Yeah, so we are zoomed in now on Jules, just so we can get a view of that Case Management Studio. Nathan, maybe you could walk us through what section she's working on.
Yeah, absolutely. As you were saying, April, Case Management Studio is really about making it easy for users to pull together new requirements as we've just thrown at them. So there's 4 key components that they're going to need to put together, and you can see Jules going through and creating the data layout that they need. There's then an intake form to start off that whole process, the workflow with the different task types that are in there, and then a nice summary page once we're all good, everything's been submitted.
Yeah.
This is a really good twist challenge as well, April, because yes, they're going to be working primarily in Case Management Studio to build out all of those elements that Nathan just mentioned, but there is one component of this challenge that you need a low-code developer to complete, right? And that's where you see this synergy, right? So they're going to be creating an expression rule similar to what they did in one of their mini challenges to determine if this detour mission, if there are a sufficient amount of resources to actually complete that. And so this is where we're going to see that handoff between the studio developer and the low-code developer.
Yeah, absolutely. And you might notice too that you know, we see that studio interface form. For developers, it probably looks familiar, similar to Interface Designer, but it is a simplified version to help business users focus on just the parts that they might need to get set up here. So I'm seeing a lot of work happening. Maybe we can check in on KPMG and zoom in on someone here. I'm seeing on Shannon's screen, maybe we can zoom in there, working on this submit emergency form, which is one of those mission types, right? So what are those mission types, Justin? Maybe you can remind Simone.
We had an exploration, we had a rescue, and then we also had, what was that third one?
Delivery.
Delivery, exactly. I usually outsource delivery to Amazon, so I forgot for a sec. And then now we're adding this detour case type as well. So we'll have 4 ultimately within Case Management Studio by the time they finish. I'm also noticing on the middle screen of KPMG, if she toggles back over in just a moment, you were seeing that change typeface that they had made in the first half for the UI and UX as well.
Yeah, and we're zoomed in on Shannon now. So we're seeing her go, she made in Studio that interface, and now she's working on that object that was created in Appian to make those additional updates, validations, everything like that. So Simone, we have a really space-themed challenge here. When are you going to make a robot to go to space?
I have no current plans. Also, I like being here. I feel like a dog invited into a board meeting, and I'm just like, okay, yeah. Sure, studio mission control. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but no plans on going to space or getting a robot into space. But if somebody gave the Toothbrush helmet a ticket, it wouldn't say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would go to space. I don't know, anyone in the audience, would you guys go up to space? Maybe? Only if the missions were being tracked with Appian, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna walk around. I like putting some more pressure, and maybe we can zoom in on screens as I go to people. So now I'm up behind Hillman. Let's see what he's doing. It looks like he's working on calling. We introduced one of the stretch goals to incorporate the NASA API and get some nice images from that API. So let's spice up those UIs here. Moving along next to Shannon, still working at that submit emergency request, giving a little smile for the camera. Coming along to Justin, looks like he's working into those validations. I see a lot of notes here that I would want to touch, but I don't want to disrupt him more. It's $30,000 on the line, after all.
On the NavLab side, I'm seeing 3 separate interfaces or 3 separate screens from each of our contestants. So it looks like Haley is working on the user interface to actually kick off that task, maybe start to integrate in her expression rule. I'm seeing Jules is still finalizing that workflow here for this new detour mission type. And then I guess Casey is still working on that records chat component. Maybe he's just trying to go for some extra flair in his UI.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was a stretch goal, correct?
I'm not sure. Maybe they are trying to put a little extra and smooth the judges into giving them those extra points. I also did notice on Casey's screen, I saw my headshot somewhere. That does not get you extra points. I try to remain impartial.
You can't bribe your way to 30K.
Cool. I mean, Nathan, what else are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you excited about?
I'm definitely seeing that they're doing their best not to be distracted by us. We noticed in the video interviews that we were doing on Monday and Sunday and Monday that that was probably one of the most common worries that everybody had. But they are just so locked in. Again, in the green room backstage, they were really, really hunkering down on this task to work out what are they going to throw in, what can they do to bring this all together nice and quickly. And we're seeing it here. Again, every time we look at one of these screens, there's always something that just makes me go, ooh, that's really good. There's little things like that dark mode that we've seen. We've seen some nice background images being put in. They're making some really good user interfaces as part of this final build.
Yeah, I'm really excited where it's not part of the timed challenge, and in a few minutes when we're gonna let each team show us their creations, so it's not just, hey, let's look at you, and they're whipping back and forth between the tabs quicker than we can keep up with, right?
I also see that they're all wearing headphones, which seems like a good strategy for not being distracted by us standing and talking about them.
Yeah.
We're basically like a live comment section, which is absolutely horrifying.
But I think Casey actually has no headphones. He's just kind of going in. He wants to experience it fully, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, what would each of you put in your headphones if you were up here doing this challenge?
That's a good
Because
question.
last year, one of the contestants actually was just playing bird sounds, which I thought was pretty funny.
When I'm locked in developing, I have a Spotify playlist called Classical Bangers that really just kind of carries me through any development that I'm doing.
Yeah, I've really randomly got into instrumental versions of modern songs, and I've come across like medieval twists on it. It's very bizarre, but it's different. I like it.
I'm here for that. Simone, what about you?
Oh, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but no, I am not. Taylor Swift's Pandemic album,
Yes.
you know, it really gets me there.
The new one that comes out tomorrow?
What's that?
The new one that comes out tomorrow?
No, the Pandemic album.
The Pandemic one.
Calmer,
Okay.
more folksy
Okay.
ones. But yeah, the new one, probably.
All right, we're just under halfway through time of this 15-minute segment. So remember, like, in the past 1 hour continuously going, we're just throwing so many new things at them now, with it being a team challenge, them working on pieces a little bit at a time. Hey, here's a new requirement, go figure it out while you're still dealing with all the adrenaline. Sorry, Mike. Let's, maybe do another round robin. Justin, maybe you can point us to someone's screen that we can kind of.
Yeah, so if we're looking in the upper left-hand corner, I think that's Casey's screen here from Nav Labs. We're starting to get a glimpse of their homepage for the mission control dashboard, right? So this was the UI that I remember in the UI session we'll see in 6 minutes here, where they incorporated a GIF into the background. They were really trying to lean into this space theme, and I think KPMG, you just saw quickly on the bottom middle section, is doing something similar, but even the creative liberty that they each took, these UIs both look incredibly compelling, but drastically different.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that GIF is really subtle, but it's really quite beautiful. Nathan, what are you seeing? Maybe you can point us to.
So the one thing that I'm not seeing at the minute is any more case management configuration, which is a good sign because it means they've gone through and started out their intake forms. They've started out the task block that they need for the workflow. They've got that data set up as well. So it's a good sign that they've moved past that already. And as Justin's just saying, like Casey's going through, they're actually working on some of the interfaces within Design Editor as well. So case management's created those objects for them that they can then go in and do that editing and get sort of more detailed changes on there.
Yeah, I think we are really at a point where the Live Build Challenge does need to start incorporating non-developers, maybe a mixed team, because Case Management Studio just makes it so easy. Yeah, you
Three
three?
of us. This is the dream team right here, next year.
Looks pretty good to me. Yeah, okay, let's see.
I'm also
Going around
seeing
the
a lot
room.
of conversations between the teams. Like in the first half, I think that they had their strategy pretty firm. Everyone knew exactly what they were doing, and they only had 20 or so minutes to prepare. So, not that they're scrambling by any means, but I think that they're just validating, making sure that they've dotted all of their I's, crossed all of their T's before they link all of this together for the final product.
Yeah, and a lot of them, they do have a lot of pieces of paper just crumbled up on the desk where they're trying to take a lot of notes. Simone, how do you plan, your initial planning when you come up with a new idea? Are you taking notes on paper? What's your process like?
It's a lot of taking notes, but as somebody who's aesthetically challenged and cannot draw to save my life, it is just a scribble of some sort, and then I start prototyping in physical materials.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this morning we actually announced Appian 3D Plus, where you can incorporate 3D models right into your Appian apps as well. So I think, we should probably make you an Appian app, I think, where we can help you, run your business and work on all of your new prototypes.
Am I going to say no to that? No.
Yeah.
It's great.
I guess maybe that can be another part of the prize for the winning team is, working with you on an Appian app.
You get to do more work for a random Swede.
They love building. They signed up to do this crazy enterprise game show hackathon live in front of an audience. And we are at 3.5 minutes left.
Oh my God.
I'm seeing some collaboration here over on the KPMG side. Justin sliding over. NavLabs looks all locked in. Oh, just kidding. All right, they go to collaborate too. We probably should have made the desks a little bit closer together.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But they're also like 100 feet apart from one another, the two teams as well. So, but it looks like I was seeing a few Casey from NavLabs go through a few of the other interfaces that he had already been developing. Maybe they're doing those final checks, right? It's the last 3 minutes that they have to make any changes to UI, past functionality before they wire all this up together, hand it over to the judges, and hope that they secured enough points to secure the win.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a lot of work on the judges too, to turn that score around pretty quickly. So just wanted to give a shout out to them and all of the lovely staff working in the background to help make this possible. All right, 2.5 minutes left. Maybe we can just cycle through the screens and point out things that we're seeing. Like in Justin's screen, I'm seeing the lovely patches on his nice Appian space jacket. Now he's getting back into it. There you are, Justin, right on the big screen.
I'm seeing all of those green configured checkboxes from Team NavLab's new mission type that they've just configured. So it looks like they are good to go. Down below, it looks like they're referencing on the KPMG side, making sure that they've also integrated that expression rule that's required from this specific twist into the objects that were created in Studio. So
I'm also loving seeing some new functionality that we've released in the last couple of releases. So a few of you that are keen on UIs will notice that we released a left-hand sidebar navigation, and a lot of the teams have made sure that they've put that in as part of their build to make everything pop, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also seeing some of those stretch goals as well. So if we look in the upper right-hand corner from Team NavLabs, the actions that are incorporated into the top of this grid here, being able to log a new planet, look at launches, look at entities that are related to their missions, those are all of those extra bonus points. So if that's functional, then that's points in Team NavLab's box.
Yeah, and those actions, as you call out, Justin, one of the challenges that we had them do, I think it was the last challenge, was really focused around data fabric and all the associated actions around that. So creating a new planetary object or planetary survey, the form that was needed with that. So they're having to pull all those pieces in as well. But again, the interface design is making it easy for them.
Right, exactly. I'm seeing just like glimpses of their finished site, and I'm on the edge of my seat to see what these look like when they're actually finished, because I think that these are going to be incredibly compelling UIs. I mean, we're down to the last 30 seconds of the Appian World 2024 Live Build Challenge. This is exciting stuff.
A very quick 15 minutes. We're down to the last under 30 seconds. I think that we need to do a big countdown together. It only seems right.
Should we also get some rumble from the audience right now?
I know, like,
right, really put the pressure on for these final moments of the Live Build Challenge.
Yeah, bring it, come on.
Here we go. We're getting ready.
9,
8, 7,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hands up.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There we go.
Wow, they did great work. All right, we're gonna go through and give each team a chance to kind of show us what they've made. Simone, I would love your reaction just from the front end experience of how does this app look? I don't know if we have a mic somewhere. Maybe it'll come running out, but in the meantime, can we zoom in on one person's screen from NavLabs? Maybe Jules, it can, not you. Haley's screen. And Haley is going to give us a little bit of a demo on the front end of the functionality. And Jules, you want to talk us through it with the mic?
My voice is kind of gone, guys. I'm sorry.
She was singing too hard at the
Mr. Brightside got me. It's understandable.
Okay.
All right, so
talk us through.
We have our stunning homepage. We have a glorious looping GIF of the moon, which is a very stylistic choice. Sorry. We also have a front and center button for submitting a new case, which is a different way of saying launching a new mission. We additionally have some fun facts about the moon on the bottom. Don't fact check those. Next. Yeah, it's fine. So this is our mission control. So here you can see our 6 main actions, which are launch mission, create planet log, update inventory, and some others, create entity, calculate fuel, launch rocket. And then on the left, we have a little ticker tape of our most recently modified missions. And you can opt at the top or at the bottom of that list to see all, if you click that. And it will pop out a little grid, which you can more easily navigate to see every single mission. For example, get me out of Jupiter, I'm stuck. I hear that's where boys to get more stupider. Sorry. Anyway, next page is launch data. And so here across the top, we have a gorgeous map with a really cute little astronaut guy on our pin, which is tracking the location of the ISS. And then underneath that, we have a couple reports, which are tracking various points of launch data. And if you were to click on one of those cards, like towards the top. It will expand that report, and then you can collapse it. So that allows you to have a little bit more of an in-depth view. So we have those 4 reports nicely configured there for you.
Amazing.
And then this is a refresh button for the location of the ISS, which, as we all know, is whipping.
It is whipping. It's moving fast.
So I hear.
It goes around the world in the time that we're just in this room, which is pretty incredible.
Crazy.
Wild, yeah.
Next up, we have our archives tab with the glorious daily refreshed billboard. That's actually yesterday's image because today was kind of ugly. No one tell NASA I said that.
But it's so easy to make a change with Appian.
So
You just say, give me
easy to make a
yesterday's
change with
instead. Yeah.
So we have 3 different archives that we're listing here today. We have the planet logs, which you can see. Those are the newly, and if you select one of them, we have a handy little log helper which will pop up, and you can ask it questions about the planet. Like, never mind. Okay.
Like,
never mind.
Records chat. Very cool. All right.
It's a really cool UI or AI feature.
Check it out.
Appian is so cool.
Out of the box. That's true.
Really cool. All right, now on to launches. Yes, you can also click into one of the planet logs. Shh. You can click into one of the planet logs to see a glorious.
Well, that's a beautiful image.
Beautifully.
You got rid of the astronomy one, but you kept this one, I see.
We didn't upload those, someone else did.
Oh, okay. Oh, blame the judges, not me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly. Don't take points off for that.
No.
All right, so if you go back to archives, we also have an archive for the launches, which we were looking at reports for those launches on the launch data, but this is just a grid of all of them if you're looking for a more specific launch.
Cool.
And then we have a news feed, which is going to pull from the open Notify AI for some space news. So, you know, if your astronauts are looking for anything, any big updates, if the moon blew up or whatever, that's hopefully where it would show up.
I can't believe it just keeps on going.
It just
where
keeps
you're
on
like,
going.
and then it has this function, and then it has this function. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
really?
it is pretty incredible. Simone, we have a long walk to the other side to check out KPMG.
Thank you.
So in that time, maybe we can get a view of what the judges are doing in the back. They're probably hard at work.
And
back
let's
there.
hear it for Team Nav Labs.
So are you impressed, Simone? You think Appian's amazing?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy. How long have they had in total to build this stuff?
So we gave them like requirements on like Monday morning. They had a 2-hour UI session where I only gave them 1 laptop per team to work on it.
You've like thrown everything at them except for physical objects.
I know.
You're like,
but I may have some physical objects to throw at the audience in a couple minutes.
Oh, wow.
Just a little thing. All right, who is going to talk us through?
Right here.
All right, the boss. All right, let's see it.
Hi, everyone. All right, so we'll take you through our application that enables you to orchestrate change across the cosmos.
Oh, wow.
One mission at a time. So we can go ahead and create a mission off of here. I think we're gonna jump to the mission control dashboard though, so we can get a bird's eye view of everything going on in the application. We have some key metrics to keep our eyes out on in case you're curious about planets visited. Chat with us later if you want to ask us a question about Mars or Venus or whatever. I hear it's pretty hot. We can keep an eye out on all of our upcoming and our completed missions as well on the left-hand side. If we want to, we can drill down, but for right now, let's take a look at that beautiful chart out there. We have payload mass by rocket by nation. We know that, not just the US is making trips, so we want to keep an eye out for all of those other nations that are visiting the other planets in the atmosphere. If we wanted to scroll down a little bit, we can see we also have planet logs, just to take a look at what is going on with the pressure, the Celsius, so you can prepare before you make your journey.
What is going on with the Celsius, All right. What else we got on here?
We can keep an eye out on people in space in case you want to link up with them. Message them on LinkedIn before you go. We can also see the current location of the ISS, so you may want to stop by on your destination throughout the universe. And then going back up to the top, we can see that this is not a page just to view data. You can actually take action right from here. So if we want to just click on one of them, like let's create a new planet log, for instance. We sent Hillman out here, and we sent him off to Venus. We didn't want him. We needed to keep him busy for a while. So he collected some data, and he can put it directly into this form. And if we submit the whole thing, you could see it on the planet log that we just walked through. Moving along to the launch report. Also a nice dashboard related to the rocket launches that have been happening for the past 20 or so years. Very similar to what you saw with NavLab, so we can just scroll through in terms of the actual data that we're showing. If we go over to the top, we can tab over so we can see more information about those launches, dive a little bit deeper into the details.
All right, and I see one more tab over there on your nav.
Yep, finally we got space news. If we're curious about what's going on in in the atmosphere. We can drill down into any of these articles if anything catches your attention, maybe the image draws you in, or just the title. You can drill down and read more about it.
Pretty awesome. Wow. Can we get a round of applause over here? So, Simone, I'm guessing that you probably didn't know what Appian was maybe a few weeks ago before you started chatting with us.
Well, you gotta out me like that.
But now after seeing this, how do you feel about Appian?
I mean, I just keep on being like, oh, how can I apply this to my product business? Because we're constantly trying to find ways to grab in or like bring in customer data or sales reports or quotes from our factories and have everything in one platform. And all the like collaboration platforms that we have are just bad.
Yeah, Appian is just good, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, any A's out there? Simone sounds like she might have a problem that needs fixing. So, okay, contestants, I'm going to give you guys a chance to head on back, take a drink of water, give you a last chance to maybe try and bribe the judges. I don't think it'll work. In the meantime, okay, I did mention throwing stuff. So.
Oh God. Should we be worried at this point?
Well, maybe you guys can each take one to throw.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
and
no.
the audience.
Physically throw?
So we will throw physical
and,
objects.
Oh my God.
I have a little bit something else. So, all right. Woo! This is what you get for being in the back of the room, missing out on these lovely jackets. All right. I technically was supposed to get training on this, and they just gave me a quick overview, so. Don't aim high is what I've just heard from the control in my ear, so let's see.
Oh my God, this is horrifying.
Oh. Wow, that was horrifying, actually.
Wow.
A lot of power. A lot of power.
Another quick fun thing that we want to do before we get the results. We actually have a little bit of a blooper reel from all those lovely interviews we did. So Simone, I really hope you enjoy this. When we were giving the interviews, we were dying laughing basically the whole time. Yeah. Nathan and Justin were keeping notes like, this timestamp, this is gold, this is gold, this is gold. So I am very curious to see what made the cut. Let's cue the blooper video.
Take one.
Counterterrorism, counter competition.
It has expired, my qualification, does that count? 70-foot screen?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
I'll take a selfie with myself.
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry, I'm thinking about being bald. I was like, what if I just said my fun fact was I'm bald?
So what do you guys think your strengths are as a team? Bald. Great strength of his.
Just in case you guys didn't get it, there's no hair on this.
Yeah. This could be a blooper. Yeah. We all have cats.
Oh, I have
Yes.
cats too. Okay,
Really?
we all have cats.
Okay. Rare.
Well, Justin is...
Oh, wait. There's a competitor. Do you have a message for him?
Good luck. Good luck. Have
You got
fun.
Who's the boss?
gets funny every time.
The blooper reel, it's always one of my favorite parts. I mean, tech is amazing, software is amazing, but at the end of the day, it's all about the people and connecting each other and using that tech to make our lives better and easier, right?
Unique solutions
I
to
saw you
everyday
just
problems.
glance at this stool, okay. Look, I'm a little short. Okay, couple more things before we get into the winner. We do have a raffle that we did over the course of Appian World here, a raffle to win our new Academy Learn Pass. So if you're a developer out there and you are really excited about the Live Build Challenge, you want to train up to compete, this might be a great thing for you. It's a new annual training subscription for unlimited instructor-led training, certification vouchers, learning support with certified instructors, skill assessments, and more. So if you did get one of those raffle tickets, now is your time to pull those out because we are giving this away to 2 lucky winners. All right, maybe a little drum roll for this. Okay, and the Academy Learn Pass winners are, let's pull it up on the screen in a moment. All right, Justin, can you read off numbers for me? I can be a little distracted.
Absolutely. So our first raffle winner is 753739. Are you in here? Well, our second raffle winner is 753655.
Okay.
So congratulations to those 2 raffle winners.
So hopefully someone told you how to get in touch with them. I'm not quite sure where to go, but we'll find you. Okay. I am hearing from Mission Control that we may be ready with a winner. So before we bring them back on, I just want to see maybe if we have a backstage shot of the contestants eagerly waiting. Do we have that? There they are.
Oh, they're having
getting
a great
ready to launch, talking about what they've done, taking a deep breath for the first time in 3 days since we've been torturing them so bad. Yeah. So why don't we welcome back our 2 finalist teams, Nav Labs and KPMG.
There we go.
They are.
Woo. Woo.
Okay, here's the teams. Come on each side. They were absolutely incredible, right?
Absolutely.
Commentators?
Blew my mind.
Incredible. And over the course of this whole conference, they were, as well as the 2 other teams that participated this week. But there can only be one winner. And that winner is Team KPMG. So, congrats guys, you did great. Now, I know that, they're gonna cry. This is a beautiful moment. So I know you're probably waiting for your check, so I have that right here. I know there's 3 of you, so I'll just do this. You can put that on your wall. That's good, right? Good? Okay, great. No, I'm just kidding. Of course we have the comically large checks. You guys. All right. So here, photographer, do you want to help us stage? Let's make it look good. So I don't know where to put them. You tell me. Woo! All right. Maybe we can join you for one. Maybe keep them up and we can come around. Simone, you want to come with me too? I don't know. I'm just.
Oh yeah. You gotta help me out.
Awesome. Well.
Amazing. Well done.
Fantastic.
Good luck figuring out how to get that in your suitcase or get that home. You know, we'll be in contact about getting the money out, but you guys did great. Great job.
Congratulations.
All right. That's been great. I'll let you guys finally go take a breather. Maybe you want to lay down. Maybe it's finally time for a hard beverage, because I know all of us were being good at the conference party last night, right? So thank you all for joining me up on stage. Simone, you've been amazing. Nathan and Justin, you've been amazing.
Congrats.
Contestants, the winners of the first ever Live Build Challenge Teams Challenge. All right, get out of here. Skedaddle. Goodbye, everyone. All right. It would not be a proper close to the conference without one more thing, which is an April squared moment on stage. So I would love to bring back April Del Favaro to the stage.
Okay, how about another round of applause for April Shupel and the team? Amazing. That was exciting. It always is. With Teams Edition, that was very stressful.
They were really stressed, and actually the judges kept coming to me like, April, do you think that we could do this or this? Because they're really stressed. How can we make it easier on them? And I'm like, that's why the big bucks are on the line, right?
There you go.
It's showbiz, baby.
$30,000.
Absolutely. So, April, what do you have for us to close us out?
Yes. What an amazing way to close out the show. We're so appreciative of everyone that joined us here this week. Thanks to all the participants and everyone that participated in the Live Build Challenge. So thank you so much. I also want to take a moment to thank all of our amazing customer speakers that joined us here this week. Clearly, we could not put this show on without you, so thank you so much. Our sponsoring partners, a big thank you. We know that this is a year-long show in the making, and we're so thankful for your business and your partnership on a daily basis and for your support of this event. So thank you. We look forward to continuing our work together. Thank you. And finally, thank you. You guys all deserve a pat on your back. So thank yourselves for being here. We're thrilled to have you a part of the Appian community. So thank you so much. Finally, I have an important announcement. Next year, where are we going? Next year, Appian World 2025 will be hosted at the Gaylord Rockies in Denver, Colorado.
Woo!
So it'll be a little change of pace for us, but beautiful resort, beautiful city, and we'll be in the mountains. So we're really looking forward to that, the 28th through the 30th of April next year. So with that, thank you all so much. Safe travels home, and we'll see you soon. Take care.